Welcome to another video with Ellie and Lucas. As you can see, we're continuing to paint the basement, but we thought we would share with you what the American smile and the whole greeting of "how are you" means, because we feel like a lot of people, especially Germans, don't necessarily understand what it really means to us. So, for example, let's start off with the American smile. So, like walking down the street, oftentimes in the US, you'll see someone smile at you and you smile back. And typically, this doesn't really mean anything deep other than they just kind of like, I hope you're having a good day, and like want to add some cheer to your day or niceness, It doesn't necessarily mean that anyone wants to be your best friend. It's just like another ray of sunshine, Kind of like if someone holds the door open for you or something like that. It's just like being friendly and kind to your neighbor or your fellow citizens or anyone who you really encounter kind of just brightens their day. Sometimes, though, I do understand some Germans say that the smile can be fake, and I get that. Like if you're in a grocery store, for example, and the cashier greets everyone in line with a smile, like sometimes that can come off as fake because maybe she's in a hurry. But I feel like a smile is generally only faked when people are in a hurry or in a rush. Otherwise, I feel like the people genuinely care. So that's my perspective.
How am I doing, Coach?
Good.
Does it look professional? I feel like you have this more down pat than I do.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, why? I must have smelled
Okay, my turn.
it.
Here you go.
Oh boy.
What?
There's drizzle.
Oh. Okay, my turn. And so to go along with the whole is smile or Americans being fake when they smile to each other, we also see a lot in our comments, and we've heard this from other Germans that we've talked about while we are in Germany, that they think Americans, when they see someone and say, "Hey, how are you?" or "Hi, how are you?" they also find that kind of fake because they find it not very genuine, because often they see it as Americans see someone and say, "Hey, how are you?" and the other person says "good," and they repeat it back to the other person, and that's it. It seems like no one really cares, and everyone always responds "good." And I can totally understand that, because in some ways it kind of is like that, but I think Germans and other people from other countries don't necessarily realize that when Americans see each other and say, "Hi, how are you?" it's really almost just more like a greeting. It's not like a genuine "Hi, how are you? Tell me your problems." It's just our way of saying hi. And to me, personally, I see this being a similar thing to how Germans will sometimes walk into an office building or something like that, or a doctor's office waiting room.
Or the fitness center, the training gym.
Or the training gyms and the fitness centers, and they'll say "good morning" or "Morgen" to everyone in the little room, and everyone responds back "Morgen," and that's just a greeting. And I think it's the exact same way in America. When we say "Hi, how are you?" it's really essentially us just saying hello, unless you see a long time friend or something like that, and then maybe the context is a little different. You do mean "how are you? Tell me your problems." But to start in general, I think it's the same thing as saying "morning" when you're in Germany, or "hello" or "hi." And so that's always been my perspective of it. So I don't really find it fake as much as just a misunderstanding between cultures. Do you have different thoughts, Ellie?
Yes, I do think a little bit differently. Oh, I'm gonna get paint all on my face. So yes, I agree with Lucas in that it's a greeting, but I think that it's a greeting of that American people seem to genuinely care how others are. I feel like in the US there's this group mentality that you always are looking out for your neighbor and how they are. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're best friends with your neighbor or that you'd marry them or something, but it just shows that you care about other people. And so while it is kind of like a greeting, I also feel like most people generally, like, if someone says, oh, I'm having a bad day, the other person will be like, oh, why? Like, what's wrong? And if you're me, I'll be like, oh, well, I could maybe help you and make your day better, you know? So some people go like over the top. There's like a spectrum. But going along with that, kind of like Lucas said, I feel like this somewhat greeting differs from like the person you're talking to. So if you're having the cashier, if you're talking to the cashier and she asks, hi, how are you? I'll oftentimes kind of like be like, oh, I'm fine, you know, if I don't want to like talk about my problems. You know, if I don't really feel like having a feelings conversation. But if like one of my best friends asked me, hey, how are you? I would genuinely respond to how I am doing. So to sum up, hi, how are you is kind of like, it can be taken two ways. It can be one, you know, a general greeting, or two, it can be taken more into like the more emotional getting to know you deeper. And I understand that this is really vague, and it's also kind of challenging for American speakers, like people who were born here. I remember a time like in school, like working with my colleagues, they'd be like, hi, how are you? And I'd honestly try to tell them how I was feeling, because sometimes I could kind of get the feeling that they didn't really think about it when they asked. But after thinking and talking about this more with Lucas, we kind of decided that how are you is like, it's like the leap to like try to get to know the person better. It's like you're putting the effort out there to like ask them, and then it's up to the person who's receiving it. So like if you're being asked how you are, you can either take this the more personal route and tell them how you really are feeling, or you can just glaze it over and say good. And you know, it kind of depends on the situation, and you can even have this situation with best friends. Like if you don't necessarily want to talk about your feelings in the moment, you can take the whole vague route and go, I'm good, how are you, you know? And yeah, so there's a short summary of the smile and American how are you. Yeah, I'm wearing a mask.
Yep.
What is it with these things, man?
Sorry. And real quick before we go, we want to give you guys the chance as our viewers to tell us what you kind of like in our videos. Do you really like when we do these kind of talking head and talking about differences in culture kind of videos, or are you also like okay with more of these travel videos that we've been doing? And if you're not even okay with the travel ones, tell us what you think would make them more entertaining and more likable to you, because we want to make stuff that both we like and that you like. And we definitely can tell more of you like these talking head ones, but we also want to get more into traveling, so we want to know what will make it most enjoyable for you. So leave a comment below, and we'll probably post this on some of our social areas as well, so you can answer those places too. So yeah, thanks for watching. We are going back to our painting. We have so much progress, and there's so many more videos to come on Sunday that will show you more of our progress. Oh, but there's just so much to do, but we're making great headway, and Ellie has been a real star with getting this project done, because I've just been way too busy some days. So thanks, Ellie.
Thanks for editing all our videos, Lucas.
Okay. We will see you all on Sunday. Bye-bye. Paint everywhere.
I mean, really? I wasn't gonna use it, but then I was just gonna put the ladder over it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, that's pretty thick. How about I just, you know, take the brush in, and then it's my like paint palette.
Whatever works.
That's what I think.